Well, hello and welcome to the show. Glad you've joined us this week. We're filming today at Reimer's Rainbow Ranch in Grand Junction, Colorado, and it is definitely springtime in the Rockies. So we're going to be talking about fly spray, getting your horse ready for the fly season, getting them used to fly spray, and then also some different products you can use that make your life easier out on the trail, make your life easier around the barn. All of that's coming up right here on Discovering the Horseman Within.
Gonna take a ride on one true horse.
So as we come into fly season, I'm going to tell you guys the absolute honest truth. I used to hate fly spray because I didn't think it did any good. I've bought gallons and gallons of fly spray and put it on my horse, and 20 minutes later, or first time they start to sweat, it goes away and the horses are back to fighting the flies. And one of the things that I tell people is that I've noticed that horses that are less broke also tend to have more problems with flies. So for a long time, I just simply said, you know what, I'm not going to use fly spray. My horse will have to get used to it the way they did 150 years ago. And then I was introduced to Pyranha products. And I had two gals that worked with me a lot, and they came to me and they said, you need to use Pyranha. If you use Pyranha, you won't go back. So I'm going to tell you up front, this isn't an infomercial, but it kind of is, because I'm really excited about Pyranha products. They've been an amazing sponsor for us, and I use the products, and it's the same with all my sponsors. I won't take a company if I don't use the products and believe in it. And so I used the products first and then said, wow, this is amazing. And Pyranha approached us, and we of course have had a great partnership for several years. I think 6 or 8 years I've been with Pyranha. And I love the company because they take care of their customers and they make a real product that really works. And they make a product that fits you, right? So if you really want to have a ecologically friendly product, they make a water-based fly spray. They also make an oil-based fly spray. They make whatever works for you, and they will be the kind of products you need. So when I start trying to get my horse ready for fly spray, I'm going to use the aerosol cans. I love the aerosol cans because I'm not constantly pumping the trigger. I like the trigger bottles. When I'm in the mountains and whatnot, I get a really good heavy even coat from them. But when I'm working a horse, I want to just kind of work the horse and not monkey with the bottle. So Maria here has been fly sprayed a lot. She started getting antsy the other day. She's not really going to be bothered by the fly spray, but I'm going to kind of show you what I do. And the bottle I'm going to start with is actually a newer product for Pyranha, and it's not a fly spray. So why am I using it? Because I'm not going to spray it on the horse, right? I'm just going to spray it around her. It's never going to touch her. But it's actually an odor away product, and I love this product. Spray it in your barn if it's starting to get a little ammonia, your dog gets sprayed with a skunk, anything that starts to stink, use the odor away product, and it will evaporate the odor. I love it. But what I want to do when I start getting my horse ready for the fly spray, I just start out away from them and let them smell stuff and let them hear it, right? That's pretty quiet. I've not got the best ears in the world, but I can hear it, but barely. Right? So I'm just going to walk around, and I don't want her moving. And if she does move, I'm just going to readjust her. Right? Now she's not spooking and tearing off down the barn alleyway. The idea is to stop the problem before it starts, right? Don't fix a problem. Fix it before it's a problem. Don't wait until your horse is flying around out of control. Don't start with your goal, okay? Start with a plan to build a good product. So I want to start by not even trying to fly spray the horse. I want to start with just walking around with a different product and just spraying it and letting her hear it. Not spraying her, not anything. Just let her hear that sound right there. You saw her just jitter and jump a little bit. That's okay. I had already cut the spray off. Let her courage build. Come back and do it again. Right there. She stood for it. She can smell it, and it's kind of interesting to her, right? So I want to build my horse's courage. Anything I'm doing, it doesn't matter if I'm crossing water or dealing with fly spray. I want to start out small and build to it. I always try to pay attention to the breeze and make sure that I don't have this stuff spraying into their eyes, right? So right now the breeze is just carrying it away from us. And come back here. Every time I get within a foot or so of her ears, she starts tossing her head up, which is not a big deal. But Diane told me that she just started doing this. When she gets nervous, she throws her head. So what I want to do is take that away, right? So as I come over here, when she starts to get nervous, I try to quit before the problem starts. Right there. I see just a little bit of a flinch in her eyes, I quit. And each time I just work my way closer to her ears. Good, right there. And that's what I'm happy with. I'm happy when my horse is willing to just stand and be quiet. Let's just get down underneath her. And when she doesn't care, I don't want to spray the product on her. In fact, if you have a trigger bottle, you don't have an aerosol bottle, get an empty trigger bottle and fill it with water. Because I don't want to just spray the chemical on her. I don't want to just spray the fly killer on her. It doesn't hurt her, but at the same time, I don't want to waste it. So when I'm ready to go to actual fly spray, I love the wipe and spray, the oil-based product. The water-based product, which all they did is reverse the name, right? Equine Spray and Wipe or Equine Wipe and Spray. For me, I love the oil-based product. I think it's really resilient. I think it really does a good job on the horses. So it's my favorite. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the Aerosol Fly Spray now, which is going to smell considerably different, and I'm going to come back here and just start kind of shooting it the same way I did with the Odaway. Only now I'm going to move it up and just start letting it mist over her. Now you can kind of get carried away and soak your horse down. I love to see the horse actually obeying what she knows is her commands, right? I don't have to go back and reinstate my groundwork. I may have to remind her of something, but right here, right now, she's really doing a good job. So I can just let that go. My farrier tells me all the time, I don't come too close to her head. You've seen her duck away like that. Diane told me she's been getting really sensitive about her head, and we've already kind of worked up here a bunch with it, but I want to be careful. I don't want to get it in her eyes, right? So I'm going to start at her withers, and I'm going to actually spray backwards with the spray kind of going away and run it up like that. Run it up there and quit. Don't start forward and go back. You're going to get it in her nostrils and you're going to get it in her eyes. We're going to talk about doing her face in a minute, okay? I started to tell you, my farrier tells me all the time, he loves this stuff. Mark shod for me for 23 years. And he tells me all the time, Ken, the aerosol wipe and spray empties the barn of flies. They smell it, and even though you don't hit them with it or kill them with it, they get away from you. He said, I spray every single horse with it, and it makes a huge difference. Now, I take a personal vendetta against flies. To me, every fly is a personal enemy. So one of the things I really like to do, I like to come back here and get my horse's personal fly swatter really good. I like to take their tail and soak it because they're going to use that to swish flies, and it sort of continues the spread of fly spray, and only they're doing it themselves. They do the same thing on their mane a little bit, but really I get their tail because they're going to swing that thing around and it's going to eradicate the flies in their area. And like I said, I have a personal vendetta against flies. I don't like them. Same thing on the mane side. I just start at the back, spray up that mane, right? Don't start up here and blow their face full of bug spray. Give the horse a chance to actually win, right? So there's lots of ways that we can deal with the horse's face, lots of ways to get fly spray on their face. And we're going to talk about some of that coming up, but realize it's no different than you. You smell things you don't like, you don't stand there and love the smell, right? Like the antiseptic smell you get when you walk into a hospital. That doesn't freak everybody out, it does me. I don't like that smell. So I feel like the horses are that way with the fly spray. Very few horses love the smell. So let's be really cautious about how we do it. Let's not just take the bottle and just mug their face and spray it. Let's build up and build our horse's courage, but also give him a little bit of an easier way. So one of the things you can do, you can just spray it in your hand and wipe it on like that, right? You can spray it on a rag if you want. and wipe it on. Take it and just pet the horse and start over that nostril, right? So this mare has really been acting a little bit goofy about her nose, and she flicks her head every now and then. So here's a really good time to work on that. You just take your hand and you're working anyways, and or a rag, doesn't matter to me. You work up to those ears and just going slow and gentle and taking your time, right? So that's how we did this side of the horse's face, is just with my hand or a sponge or a rag, something that's gonna push that chemical around. And when she takes her head and starts to get anxious, you see her lift her head, she's not doing anything bad. She's doing something she doesn't normally do. So I'm just gonna come back here and just give her a cue. She already knows. Soften that halter, bring her nose back down. Soften that halter, right here, bring her nose back down. Nope, soften that halter, work with your hands. Soften that halter. I've been talking on Facebook lately about release, right? So for me, you've got to release the horse where you want them to be. So the release comes when her head is down, not when it's up. When her head comes up, I put the pressure on. When her head is down, leave her alone. That's where you want her to be, so release her there. Now take and work with her while her nose is down there. Okay, whoop, soften that halter. And just rub on her nose. You're working on her. Soften that halter. Good. Her head should be down here where you can work with it anytime you want to. That's where her head should always be, regardless of what you're doing. If you're bridling her, haltering her, clipping her, or putting the fly spray on. If you let her get her head up here where Maria wants to put it, if you let it get up here and you work on it like this, that's where you're always going to have to work on it. So instead, just take the time, get her to give to that halter, put that nose down, and work on this side of her face, right? Get this horse to where she's actually paying attention to what you're doing. So if you don't want to get chemical on your hand or touch that sponge or anything like that, then we can use the Equine Roll-On. One of the reasons I like to use the Equine Roll-On is that it helps get my horse ready for other things, right? So you just unscrew the top, you've got a little roller here, and you just start rolling it on your horse, right? Now again, let's bring that head down. I'm getting my horse ready for the clippers right here. The little roller makes a little sound, and I can roll inside her ear. It's kind of comfortable, but it makes a little vibration, a little bit of noise, and I can just roll right here, roll around her eyes, and it's just super specific, right? Oh, no, we're not going up. We're not going up, so bring that nose down. There we go. Roll right around her lips. Bring that nose down. There we go. And just work that horse like that. And then release. Get away from her. Let her have that break. Now, I'm one of those people, I kind of want things to look like I didn't miss any spots. You don't really have to do that. Honestly, as long as you're getting it in that general area, the scent of it is what's going to keep the flies away, right? It does kill flies if you spray them with it, but the scent of it is what's going to keep them away. We don't want a product where the fly lands and then leaves. We want a product where the fly gets close and goes, oh, heck no, right? So as long as you're getting it on there, you're doing pretty good. Another area that I like to use the roll-on is right up here in the shoulder, kind of around the girth, but don't put it under the cinch. That's going to annoy, right? So, but you can use that shoulder in that area right there where the elbow is. And the same thing back here in the flank area. Inside the flank, right there, up underneath there. That's an area where flies get all the time, and you can be really specific with the roll-on and get in there. Now, I'm making science out of fly spray, right? And you're gonna say, oh my word, Ken, really? Just spray the son of a gun and get done with it. I can feel that way too, but honestly, part of the reason I hated fly spray was because that's exactly what I did. I just coated them in fly spray and went on. And I've learned that actually, if I take a little bit of time, we're making a whole show out of this, when in reality, how long would this take me on any given morning? 2 minutes. What's 2 minutes out of my day if it makes my whole day better? What's 2 minutes out of my week if it makes my whole week better? And that's what I want to see. I want to use products that do that. One of the things that I really want to reiterate, get your groundwork done right. So your groundwork is so critically important that you don't want to have to do a groundwork lesson this morning. That should already be done. Your horse should already be standing here acting broke. Acting broke. Think that one through a minute. I don't really want my horse to act broke. I want them to be broke. But as long as they display themselves as a well-mannered individual, that's what I really care about, right? I say this at clinics all the time. Do you know what your horse is thinking? You don't. Next question. Do you care what your horse is thinking? No. And people say, yeah, I do. No, you don't, because you don't know what he's thinking. So why should you care? What you care is what he's doing. This mare is standing here rock solid still, right? She's not running off. She's not screaming. She's not pawing. She is doing exactly what I've asked her to do. So what do I care what she's thinking? She might be sitting here thinking, wow, I love the smell of Pyranha, and that bonehead just said I didn't like the smell of it. I have no idea what she's thinking. What I know is what she's doing. Sit down and write a list of manners. I firmly believe that good manners are the same in horses, dogs, cats, children, and adults, right? I cannot stand an ill-mannered cat. I can't stand an ill-mannered dog. And I don't like ill-mannered employees, and I don't like ill-mannered horses, right? And I love ill-mannered children as long as there's somebody else's ill-mannered children, but I don't want my own children to be ill-mannered. So sit down and say, what is my horse allowed to do? What are their actions allowed to be? Because that's the difference between this horse and the horse that won't be polite, right? People will say to me all the time, Ken, I so wish that my horse acted like yours. Well, this isn't my horse, right? This is Diane's horse, and she has made it a point to make sure this horse has manners. And so the difference between the ill-mannered horse and the good-mannered horse is only your decision to enforce manners. And so you hear people say the same thing about their horses that they say about their children. But I want him to like me. There's no problems with this horse liking me. There's no problems with this horse liking Diane. The truth is, horses feel more comfortable when they know where the limits are, where the boundaries are, and what it should be looking for, right? So when we take a simple process like fly spray and it turns into a nightmare, or bathing, right? Never start with your goal. You're going to give this horse a bath, so what do? You walk up, grab the hose, and spray him in the face. No, you start spraying the ground around him and build to your goal, but keep in mind the groundwork should already be done. If the groundwork is done, the horse has learned to be polite. I have never seen this horse do the head down cue exercise, but I knew, because I know Diane, that all I had to do was take a hold of that and the horse would come immediately and give to that pressure. If you bought a pickup or a new car and you thought you got the top of the line version and you got into it and you pushed play on the radio and nothing happened, you'd be upset. It's the same with a horse. When you ask this horse to do something, it should just do it because he knows he's been taught. Now, will he be perfect forever? Of course not. He's going to make, or she in this case, they're going to make mistakes, but you should be able to just kindly and gently remind them of their ground manners. So going back 15 minutes, when I was just spraying the Odaway around her, trying to get her used to it and making her stand still, and she was kind of antsy. Remember, I just lunged her around me while I sprayed it for what, 20 seconds? I reminded her of her ground manners, and instantly she came back and said, okay. So one of my favorite speeches to get on is deal with it now, right? Take care of it now. When you go to fly spray your horse or you go to bathe your horse and they get antsy, don't just, oh, I'll work my way through it. I mean, after all, I have an aerosol can and I've got a death grip on the halter and I can just keep spraying for all I'm worth. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Fix the problem. Build your horse's courage, right? That's a critical piece. Build your horse's courage, build their tolerance, you know I hate the word desensitize. So don't desensitize your horse. Build their tolerance by showing them if you stand still for a little bit. And it's the same with anything. It's the same with firecrackers on the 4th of July. Start in the middle of June and start lighting firecrackers outside the round pen, and when the horse finally stops being nervous for a moment, take the firecrackers away for the day and come back and do it again tomorrow until that horse realizes when I stand still, the firecrackers go away. You're building their tolerance and their courage, and the horse learns to trust your leadership that way. Then when you get into real problems, you're out on the trail and everybody takes off and leaves, right? I went to a branding the other day, really neat branding, really pretty area. And on the way back, I just kind of wanted to walk along. And everybody took off. They all hit a high trot and a high lope, and my horse lost his mind because everybody took off and left him. So I had to go back and reiterate on my personal horse. I did not expect to do this, but I haven't ridden him in a year. I have not been on that horse in a year. So I had to go back and reiterate, hey, there's a lesson here that you've learned. And as soon as I did, we went back to walking down the trail. Everything you do, if you build that horse's courage and he learns to trust your leadership, then when life gets real, he'll actually tolerate it so much better that it'll blow your mind. And then the payoff for the time invested comes back, and your horse is ready to go do what you want to go do. You have a trustworthy animal, and instead of you saying, gosh, Ken, I'd give anything if my horse stood like that, you'll have people telling you, I would give anything if you could show me how to get my horse to stand like yours. Thank you guys so much for joining us every week, and we wouldn't have been here if it weren't for amazing sponsors like Pyranha. And so I want to thank them as well. Remember to enjoy your horses this summer, have fun with them, and until next time, may God bless the trails you ride.
Find out more about Ken McNabb horsemanship at kenmcnabb.com.
That one true horse, the perfect partner built to ride. One true horse, a bond that cannot be denied. You would search forever just to have the chance to take a ride.